my cell phone to do whatever it needs to do. So we can record. Okay, so welcome to our monthly meeting. And we have guests today. And do we want to have the guests speak before we accept minutes from our April meeting?
Sure. Oh, can you mean? I think so.
Just have the guest speak. That's Adrielle. Is that Adrielle Farr?
Yep, it's Adrielle.
Adrielle.
Call me Addie, and
Okay.
everyone here is welcome to do that too.
Okay, great, wonderful. So why don't we have you make your presentation, then we'll just move forward on our meeting.
All right, thanks so much. So I'm Adrielle Farr. I'm the Director of Art and Cultural Affairs for the City of Kingston, and I'm joined here today with Susan Lynn, who is the Chair of the Kingston Arts Commission. Susie, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi,
Hi,
Susan.
Alan. How are you?
Hi, Susan.
So we're here today to talk about a proposal that we've been working on a little bit. And I'm going to let Susie give you a little background on a project that we'd like to have in one of the parks.
So I don't know if any of you know or knew Dennis Connors. He was a driving force in the arts in Kingston. Back in the 80s, he had a show out, what is now the Hutton Brickyard, and it was kind of a precursor to the Kingston Biennial. And there were probably 15 or 20 artists that participated in that. And then a few years later, he and Hank Dyke got together and they decided that they were going to do something in Block Park. We called it, back then, it was in 1995, and it was called the Block Park Outdoor Sculpture Exhibition, which was the first of the Kingston Biennials that happened every 2 years after that. And Denny was really very, he and Hank just put their heart and souls into that. And, over the years, he continued to work with the Biennial. He was one of the people who worked at Ask to make that building come to life. He was always nurturing young artists. He was the librarian at GW and also at JFK for a while. So he was really instrumental, and he passed away a year ago in November. And my husband is his best friend, and they met at Cortland College back in we don't even want to say when. It was 50 years ago. And so we proposed to ask that there be a retrospective of Denny's, and they're going to host that in August. And we would like to have something in Block Park, because that's kind of where it all started. We'd like it to be August, September, and October, because those are the nice months. And would probably be about 12 different sculpture pieces. He did have one in the very first, he had one in the first biennial it's called Monitor, and it's probably about 8-foot high computer monitor that he does, most of his work is in metal and some stone, and he did do a series that had lawn chairs in it. So I'm happy to send you samples of his work if you would like to see some photographs. But we're going to work with Ask in promoting it. My husband's going to be the curator. His family is very much all in favor of this. We're going to do a catalog, and I'm hoping that you folks will like the idea and want to see it in Block Park.
Thanks, Susie. I think one of the reasons why we're really excited about this project is that we have a lot of really talented artists and creative people who have been a part of Kingston's community for a really long time. And this is one of our ways of celebrating their legacy, but also being able to pass on their stories to new artists and new people in the community who can learn a little bit more about some of the people who have worked really hard to make Kingston a thriving arts community. So my department's in support of this project as well. And we love to see art in public spaces. So this is a really cool way to be able to bring some arts to folks so that they can learn a little bit about Denny and his work, but also just be able to enjoy some beautiful work. A lot of his work was really moving, interesting, dynamic, and he was a true craftsman. So this is like incredible feats of sculpture work that we're all going to be able to see in Block Park.
I wanted to say hi to Susan. I did before, but then I realized I was muted.
Hi, Alan. I miss you.
Yeah, you
I
too.
am retiring in 121 days.
Oh, make it 118, you'll feel better. No, no. Well, congratulations. As an artist, I appreciate what you're doing, and I remember the first exhibit, so it was a while ago. All right. So thanks for what you do.
26 years ago.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I do. I do want to say, Mr. Connors, he was my librarian when I went to JFK. And he
Oh,
actually taught me how to play chess, but I did not know about this. Yeah, I was in the chess club, it was the whole thing. But I didn't know about this artistic side of him. I know that he had a truck and it was like painted or something like that. I vaguely remember that. And I just was talking to him about it one day and he was just like, oh, I let some people do it. And I didn't know it was like this whole thing. I just was like, okay. So it's nice to know that he had this this other aspect of him that I wasn't aware of, and it would be nice to learn about it visually and to see it in real life. So I'm wondering, so you're saying that there are going to be sculptures in Block Park. I'm sorry if I missed the amount that you said, and I'm also wondering how long would this be a certain time period, or would it be just permanently in the park? And
no,
I'm
it
sorry
would be
if there's
permanent.
a lag on my computer.
Yeah, the probably 12 sculptures. I think the first biennial we had maybe 20. I don't think, we'll have that many. I think 12 is a nice number. And I'm hoping that we can do it for August, September, and October. The show at Ask will only be for 1 month, but I like the idea of having the sculpture out there for, long, at least as long as the weather is nice. And Denny has 2 sons that are of age where they can really help lifting, because we can't do that anymore.
So, would there be, will all 12 pieces be his work, or you said that there are
Yes.
other? Oh, they would be his.
Yes.
And what about insurance liability?
I'm going to see if we can put a rider on the Ask insurance. And if we can't do that, then we'll do something with the homeowner's insurance, put a rider onto that.
Okay, so that would be good. You just never know,
Right. Oh,
as
no,
far as vandalism. 3 months. Does anyone else have any questions? Hold on a second.
I think the requirement is for the insurance for vandalism but also for liability for,
Yeah.
We're a litigious society. So, in case someone gets hurt running into something or tripping over it or.
Yeah, I think it's, and Addie or Lindsay, correct me if I'm wrong, it's, is it $1 million
That's
policy
generally
that
what we ask for, just the additionally insured stuff. But in addition to that too, we could maybe have a conversation with Corporation Counsel about just drafting up an agreement that just kind of, make sure that all of the parties involved kind of understand what's going on and understand the inherent risk and stuff like that. So if that makes some of the commission members, I think that's totally within the realm of possibility to be able to draft up.
great.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kevin Bryant wouldn't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I remember the art exhibit back in 1995 as well. So it was, it's always nice to see art in the parks and, art in general. So
That was when you were downtown.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I would like to see it happen. I'm not sure what we need to do to move forward from here. Lindsay, could you help me out on that one?
I'm not entirely sure if anything other than the commission's, agreement, approval. I don't know if there needs to be an official vote. If you feel that just to make it official, that by all means, go ahead. There's a quorum, so you guys can do that.
I had a question, and I have no opposition to this, but just questions because they always seem to come up after the fact. Are there other people? This is going to be a one-man show or a one-person show.
Yes.
Are there other plans for others of these one-man show or multiple persons shows throughout the city?
I'm actually hoping that something like this will inspire folks to consider doing similar things for artists that they'd also like to recognize. This is kind of a community effort here. So we had a retrospective show for Pauline Oliveros at City Hall, who was a famous composer and sound artist, and we had a show that celebrated her life and her study of deep listening in the exhibition space at City Hall, and we also had a concert. So we're hoping that things like this will kind of inspire folks to consider doing similar projects to celebrate people. I know we really want to celebrate people like Ben Wigfall and other artists that have contributed to the community. So I'm hoping that this will kind of serve as a suggestion to folks to commemorate some of these amazing artists and makers.
And I would love to see the biennial come back. I mean, it's been probably maybe almost 10 years since it went away. Maybe not quite that long, but it brought a lot of tourism to the city. People, I remember when we had the trolley bus going around and taking people on a tour of the exhibition. So I'm hoping that this will be inspiration for it to continue.
Do we have a location picked out for where it's going to go at Block Park yet? I'm sorry if I might have missed that.
It will be throughout the park. It'll be 12 pieces.
Okay.
I mean, I won't put it in the middle of the baseball field.
No, of course not.
or
My
on the
concern-
basketball court.
Potential foul ball or something like that, or even a home run to ruin a piece would not be ideal either.
Maybe we could have some conversations as we get closer to the date when we start kind of figuring out the lay of the land and where we'd like to put things. Maybe we could come back to the commission or just send y'all an email kind of with some of our locations. So that way you could kind of, you all know the parks really well. So if you see something that goes, I don't know about that, maybe we could have a conversation before we start installing things. That way everyone's included in the planning process.
Sure, we can do a map of the park and indicate where the sculptures will be located.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Because I also think about with it being a park, if the children or someone is on the playground equipment or something, I just wouldn't want them to, try to run freely and, there'd be, some blockages in the way. So just thinking about that. But I do also as Alan mentioned, it, like the idea of opening up eventually to other artists that could be celebrated and appreciated. I think that would be really nice, especially during a time when we have a lot of things that we could be sad about. It would be nice to have art to, you know, beautify everything.
Absolutely. Very much agree with that point. I think that's another nice thing about this is that since it is something that is outdoors, it's something that we can all kind of celebrate with. And, you know, in terms of like trying to communicate, maybe, you know, how to kind of navigate it being in a park, maybe we could discuss having some small signage just to, you know, have some very light things there. But also, I think that's kind of the cool thing about having the catalog. I think we could definitely also make a section on the city website. So maybe that's something we could do too, just to kind of help get some communication about why they're there, just so that folks kind of know what's going on. But, you know, we want this to be kind of a partnership with y'all. So like I said, we could definitely come up with a map. And as we move along with the project, just stay in communication with everyone so that if there are things that come up, you can give us some feedback.
Just a
Um,
question.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
Was so did you mention also the reason for picking specifically Block Park?
Because that was where the first biennial was.
That
and
was okay. That's what I
Denny
was
was
thinking. But I
really
was like, maybe
instrumental in that.
okay. Okay.
I think it's something that we're definitely interested in. I think that that we would like to, I don't know, I'm speaking for the commission, but I think that once we receive, you know, a map of how you want everything to be situated in the parks, so that we can possibly all be in agreement with, you know, where everything is situated, then, you know, we can give you the total okay. So at this point, I mean, and unless anybody objects to that at this time, but I think that we can, you know, once we receive that, we can just review everything and give you the okay. And if we need to vote, we can, you know, vote on everything at that time.
Okay.
But I
I'll
think
have
it's a
something-
wonderful idea. I'm
I'll have
sorry.
something for you for your next meeting, if that's good.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Great.
Yes. And then we
Yeah,
can
thank
make
you.
that decision at that time.
All
Thank you
right,
so
that
much
sounds
for your
great.
presentation, and thank you for getting the art out there.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye,
Lynn,
Ellen.
Lynn, hi, don't leave me. Could you, would it be possible that if you could get that map prior to our next meeting, if you could get that to
Oh, sure.
Lindsay, so that it can go out to the commission members? And I'm just thinking, you know, our next meeting is, you know, summertime, and, you know, I'm always skeptical of, you know, having enough people because people go on vacation. And so, you know, if we're going to approve it, that we know ahead of time that we're going to approve it, you know, that each person gets to look at it prior to that, so the votes can, or the lack of opposition or whatever is required can,
So I'll get it to Lindsay maybe the week before.
yeah, whenever works for you guys, but
Okay.
sooner
Yeah,
is
because-
better than, you know.
Our next meeting is the first Thursday of June, so it's not quite summer yet, but getting close. So if we can have it before the next meeting, that would work.
Great. Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Good
Thank
seeing you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you,
too.
guys. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the exhibit?
I don't.
Okay, so we can move right along and approve the April commission meeting minutes. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve it?
I will.
I'll
To accept the
motion. Sorry.
who,
It's
Who was
Ellen.
that?
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to accept
the April?
this. Yeah.
Okay, I'll second it. And so we approve the April commission minutes. Let's see, one of the other items that is under new business is, the Barman Park sign location. I did see the sign and, so we wanted to know whether or not it was where the best place for it to be displayed.
Yeah, there was, Julie's the project manager for that location, and there was a question, and they wanted to defer to you guys on where to actually put the main sign. If you look at most of the other parks, there's usually a main entrance, in Forsyth, it's at Lucas Avenue. The issue with Barman is that it's kind of like hidden down the road. You have the Knothole League baseball field that's right at the road, but then, I'll be honest with you, until I moved over to Parks and Rec, I don't know if I necessarily even knew how to get to that playground. That if you have to turn down South Clinton, and so,
Right.
so it was more about, do you prefer the main sign to be facing Greenkill, or do you want it closer to the actual playground? And then there could be some sort of directional sign showing, like similar to Hasbrook Park, showing, coming from the beach. I think there's a sign stating Hasbrook Park this way, something like that. Or the other way around. Like if you feel that people will just get it, if it's at Greenkill, then that's fine too. But it really is the commission's call.
I can, I was involved in Knothole 100 years ago, it seems, but quite a while ago. And, and until then, I never knew that park existed and forgot that it existed after my kids were done playing ball there. And I think that it's a nice little park. And I think if there could be a sign on Greenkill, so that people would know that it is there and it does exist. And then if there's another, notice closer to where the actual park is, welcome or something. That's just my thoughts. So that people in the neighborhood, people in the community realize that there's an actual park behind the ball field.
Now, isn't the ball field part of the park?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that
Yeah,
was another
so-
question that came up is, I think it depends on who you ask. Some people consider it its own thing. And then, it's technically the city's responsibility to maintain it. I just don't know if I always considered the two the same location, but if it's not, then
Yeah, I'd always considered.
I don't know.
Yeah,
'Cause
I'd always considered.
The Knothole is maintained by the Knothole League, right?
No,
Right? It's always has been. We used to maintain that when I was there. I don't
I
know.
think the city turns it over in the beginning of the year, and then I do think that's the extent of it. Yeah,
And then, but they don't do anything with the,
they don't do anything
Playground.
with Barman Park, right? And so, but I just don't know as a whole is that baseball field is that part of Barman Park?
I don't know, but it would have, that might be good for us to find out. Because if it is, then I don't
yeah,
know.
I think it is part of the park, but I could be wrong. So therefore, I do think the sign should be on Greenkill, because I do want people to see it and to notice. But if you want to put a directional sign, pointing to the actual playground itself, I think that's ideal. But that does need to be there, I think, on Greenkill, especially even for the kids at the Boys and Girls Club to potentially, be willing to go there as well. I think that they need to know that it is a city park, and there's availability to them as well.
And I feel like the sign should be actually at the park, showing that this is the park, and maybe there would be a directional sign somewhere on Greenkill, pointing, an arrow saying park. I don't know, because of the fact that, you know, it's a place that seems to be kind of hidden, a little hidden gem. I think when people ride past the park, it should have a sign on it that says Barman Park. And I'm thinking that, you know, that a directional sign can say park from the Greenkill Avenue area, but that's just my thought, so.
I like both.
You know,
And I think-
and it shouldn't be this difficult, you know?
No, but I think it'd be nice, I would like to know if the knothole is part of Barman Park. If it's all the same park, or if it's two separate entities.
Now, how would we find out?
We'd ask you. No.
I could,
I would say,
I-
have the answer at the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to ask, I'm gonna ask the engineering office, I'm gonna ask Corp Council and the clerk's office. There's one of those three offices will hopefully have the answer, or they'll all disagree, and then we have to go through the county and look at parcel viewers and all that.
But I think that, I think that we probably need to, you know, make a decision on where the sign goes. So that, unless, well, that's right. If the park, if the field is a part of the park, then it could be posted on the Greenkill side? Is that what you're thinking is, Al?
Well, that would clarify it. I mean, then it would, you know, and it doesn't mean that there couldn't be two signs for Barman Park. You know, one on the Greenkill side and then one on the street where the,
Right.
you know, maybe the back street where the park is, even.
So do we want to hold off on making any kind of vote as to where to put the sign until we find out whether or not?
It's one big
field?
park or not, yeah.
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah, because in that case, it sounds like two signs would be feasible. One on the on Greenkill and one on the park itself. If we can afford it.
Yeah, two signs would be ideal. Two signs would
But
definitely-
what about the other direction on Greenkill? It would be nice to have one, you know, because if we had, do you know what I mean? Coming from Boys and Girls Club as well from, you know, Cake Box. Both directions, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's an option though.
What if people were coming up Greenkill?
Up Greenkill and then the opposite, that's not a one-way, right? On Greenkill? I
So,
just
yeah,
mean
so-
like both
Mhm.
directions would be nice, since it's so hidden. If we have that option, it would just be something to consider.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, you know, a sign in the ground that, in that green area between the ball field and Greenkill Avenue. But that's something that, you know,
As you come up.
yeah, engineering or whoever can figure that out. Or Parks and Rec, the actual people that do it and remove the snow in that area.
Yeah, we can definitely do directional signs. That's definitely much easier to do.
Yes.
The sign that you guys saw, that's a little different. That was, I believe, roped into the CDBG project. That's like the sign. That's the, you know what I mean? Like that sign that is mostly at I think all of other park locations. So that's like the main, you know, that's supposed to designate the main entrance. That's kind of what that sign is for.
Yeah, that's why I would like to see that on the park, you know, on the actual park, unless that Knothole League is a part of that park, then it can go in the front where it can be seen from the Greenkill area. So, so once we find out whether or not the Knothole League field is a part of the park, then I think that we can hold off on making a decision or having a vote as to where to place the sign.
Yeah, that's good.
I
I
don't
think
know.
if my
Or how many
recollection,
signs?
Well, the one sign was a part of the block grant, so that it was paid for. So I don't think that it really matters because there'll be directional arrows saying park. And anybody who's interested in a park will, proceed to explore where this park is located. I would think, just like Hasbrook Park, you don't actually see the park, but there's a sign that says park and Hasbrook Park, and
Right, and then
And
as you
people
actually
follow it.
as you come through the gates, there's the main sign. And
Yeah.
so the difference, I guess the difference with Barman Park or the Naho League is it's kind of like you can get to it from two different directions, as if you, whatever hill you're coming up, and if you're counting the ball field as part of the park, that's the first thing you see. Kind of, you know what I mean? Really, you don't even see the playground. So that's really the issue of where you consider the main entrance. Right? I believe that's what we need to find out. If the field is part of the park, then that should be considered the entrance. If not, then the actual playground is the park itself.
Right. So we want to table this discussion until we find out? Okay, let's table this discussion until we find out more about the field. Okay, are we in agreement
Yep.
on that?
Yep, that
Okay.
sounds good. I think
Yes.
if my memory serves me correctly, I think I remember a report that we did take over the maintenance limbs of that whole piece of property, the Knot Hole League. But I don't know that I don't know if that's accurate, but I thought we did. Which would be good, because we could put a sign, we'll see what you say, but or what you find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely city property. Janet in court counsel, she confirmed that for me. My conversations with the maintenance staff is that they turn it over in the beginning of the season, and then the league maintains it. I don't know if that was part of their agreement, that there was kind of like a cooperated type of agreement or what, but I can try to find that out more specifically.
Awesome. Okay, thanks.
No, Maureen, I think you're muted.
I'm in here coughing, but in any case, yes, thank you. So we'll wait to hear back from Lindsay to find out where that Knot Hole League field falls, if it's a part of the park or not. So we'll table that until our next meeting. And there was something else. I think, Travis, you had sent us a picture of the memorial at Dietz, Robert Dietz Memorial. And I think you had mentioned that it would be nice to see other other memorials in the city of Kingston recognized and dressed for Memorial Day. Travis? Okay. Well, did everyone see the picture that Travis had sent?
I believe that is what was said, that,
And it looks,
I think
yeah,
Ron
so-
Woods or somebody did it.
yes,
And,
Yeah.
And it was mentioned that it would be great if could happen at other.
right. And Ron Woods did that as a volunteer, so I guess we would have to find funds or, some type of funding in order to do other sites. So I don't know what sites he had in mind, and it doesn't sound as though he's in the meeting at this time. So maybe we can come back to that at a later date. Action and discussion items. Lindsay, that's you, the department program update.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on, I'm trying to see if hold on. trying to get my camera going here. Okay. Sorry, the lighting isn't great in this room here, so I'm just trying to. No, it's still not great. All right, I'm just gonna turn this back off. All right. Yes, I wanted to give you guys a couple of updates. As you know, we have a new rec leader that started last month. Yesterday was officially his first full month through. He's doing great. One of his projects currently, he's working on Movies Under the Stars. He's working with Andrew Williams on the summer camp, as well as softball. But he's really interested in soccer, and we are looking at starting an adult soccer league. Kind of, for the first year, it's going to kind of be sort of like intramural style until teams can actually start to develop. But that's one thing soccer, we haven't really run, or at least for an adult group. There's tons of youth groups, but, there's not really anything for the young adults to do as far as soccer goes. So he had a real interest in that, and I told him to go for it. So he's working on a proposal, trying to get that going for hopefully the end of August, early September timeframe.
What is his name?
His name's Jonathan Kaufman.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you know where they'll be, the field?
Yeah, probably Deet Stadium.
Okay.
That's the only location that we have that, that you don't have to worry about the field maintenance if there's rain earlier in the day. Also, we don't have any goals, and goals are actually surprisingly expensive. And maybe I'm naive. I did not realize how expensive they were. Yeah. So, until we get another, develop another soccer field location, that is our only spot. And as you know, Deet Stadium is becoming really popular. People are reserving it, throughout the entire summer, especially when you consider the school district's games, practices, tournaments and such. So we're trying to find dates that'll work for that.
Are there any projections for the field down at the beach?
That's a youth soccer field. I don't believe it's regulation size or anything. But I know that is part of the Kingston Point project. I don't have a status update on that portion of it at this time. I can follow up with Julie on that though.
Oh,
I just wanted to, about the Kingston Point. I had a friend pick me up. He's got this old Jeep that drives on the other side and comes from Maine. And he's enamored with the whole Kingston Point area. And he predicts and projects great things there. Between Rotary Park and Kingston Point. It just, what an amazing place. And so sometimes we see these things all the time and we've lived with it, and it's it's Kingston Point. But from somebody coming into the community, it's to them, it's like an amazing place. And,
it's
really
quite
nice
popular with, we get calls all spring and summer from folks from Connecticut, Jersey, the city, of course. Everyone wants to visit the beach. They want to know the hours. They want to know, what's allowed, what's not. Quite frankly, I know everybody's upset about the gate and everything. But separately from that, people are always surprised that we don't charge at the beach. And I think years ago they used to, right?
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was surprised that we weren't anymore.
Yeah. It's just interesting because it would
I
not
think
be
it's great.
it's not a popular decision with the community, and it certainly wouldn't be if it was brought back. But it's just interesting to hear from outsiders their perspective. I mean, they see the value of a place like that and are expecting to pay, to be there. You go to any Jersey beach, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, and I liked it that there's no charge for it, and people who are in the city who have enough struggles to pay their rent and their utility bills and put food on their table and their kids' clothes for school and all that they have a place that they can go and just chill out, particularly July and August,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the pool, just so you guys know, the mayor waived the fees this year for the pool. So,
Nice.
it's going to be free to the community. He feels that everybody had a really tough year. We obviously support that in our department and want people to have a place to go. And, you know, so it's his gift to the city this summer.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So just a couple of dates. The beach is going to be opening June 16th. The pool is going to be opening June 19th. The splash pad, there does seem there like there might already be a delay with the installation of the above ground pieces. Those pieces are to be installed or delivered June 21st, which may mean that the splash pad isn't available to open until a couple days after that. So we're in constant contact with the company and with the grants department to see where, if things are going to move along or if we're going to have any delay with that, but it shouldn't affect the pool.
And will that blue mat be there that goes across the beach so that it was wonderful to see, and I was able to see people in wheelchairs that were able to go right down to the water.
Yes.
At the beach, yes.
Yeah, yep. That was, yep. We have, yeah, that's installed every year, or put out every year. They, it's, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my connection looked like it went out. That, they roll it in and out every day. But that's definitely a.
Oh, does it roll in and out? I saw it out and it was really amazing, a thing like that. And it increased, a person that I knew down there, it really increased their mobility and they were able to go right down to the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, it's not cheap, but it's worth
No.
it, whatever it is.
Nothing's cheap, but it's worth it. It's all good. Raquel Knox Park ribbon cutting. So we are expecting a ribbon cutting for the park. It's moving along, either at the end of this month or early June. So I just want to put that on your radar. We'll have a more specific date in the coming weeks. As you guys know, Joe Primo recently retired. So that leaves us with an opening on the labor department or maintenance end of things. So we are going to be conducting interviews. Steve Freer and myself will be taking care of the interviews at some point next week to fill that position. We also have 2 part-time positions available and a ton of openings for seasonal employees. So if you guys know of anyone, we definitely need some, hardworking folks, to take care of the summer tasks that we have. There's a hefty list for the maintenance staff to do. And so we definitely need that extra help.
Okay.
Do you have any flyers out right now or just notifications out so people know that those positions are open?
Yes.
Or you can
Yeah. Yep.
Yes,
And I can share the information with you if that's helpful. We posted it on our Facebook. And I believe it's on our website as well. The mayor's office has shared it on his page. It's been shared on the city page. I think he's put it in his newsletter. And I've reached out to folks with the Hodge Center and the Rondout Center. We've kind of really exhausted all efforts on that front. So I'm coming to you guys to see if you know of anyone, but it has to be someone reliable. They have to know what they're getting themselves into. We don't want anyone surprised with the type of work because it's not light work. It's not easy work, but it'll really help our parks tremendously.
And you said that it's a lot of seasonal work. How many hours a week is that?
Well, we can have, I believe, we have enough. I think we have four full-time seasonal employees. So that would be full day. That would be full day's work. It would only go through September 30th, though.
The full time
Yes.
through September. Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to mention that I had received some correspondence from Roy regarding a meeting. I guess it's a public meeting regarding the updates on the pool and the Deep Stadium renovations,
Yes.
which is a Zoom meeting on May 13th, I
Yep.
believe at 9 a.m.
Yep. It was sent to so that was actually at my request, and I hope you guys don't mind. I just know that Deep Stadium has come up quite a bit in our last few meetings. And so, Ron was also invited. Hopefully he'll be able to attend. I think it would be really good for everyone to see, how much actually goes into these planning meetings and how much work has to be done on the back end. And I think it'll actually help everyone understand the process and understanding what steps have to be taken before we see any tangible results. And so I just want everyone to become familiar with the process and, hear the mayor speak about it, hear the grants department speak about it, and understand what we have to do. The community outreach, getting people on board with it sounds like a whole new aspect that is going to take some extra steps.
Okay. So anyone who on the commission who is able to join that meeting, that would
Yes.
probably be good. So,
Yeah. If you guys can make it, definitely, I suggest that you try to hop on even for a few minutes and, just absorb as much as you can.
okay. Any other questions? Let's see. Are you finished with your report, Lynn?
Yeah, I also had on there a separate section to talk about deed stuff. So it can be, anyone who has questions or items that they want to bring up. One thing I just want to say, I just want to let you guys know that the letters went out to the businesses about the promotion fee. It's being run a little bit different now that the city is, operating Dietz and not the Dietz Commission. So, I can give you guys a copy of the letter if you want to see it, but the existing businesses that have signs up, they have priority to renew if they would like. And if they choose not to, then their sign will be taken down and that will open up a space for another business.
Okay. So all the spaces are filled at this point?
There actually, there is one space, and I don't know if they requested that their sign be taken down or if it fell down.
Oh.
But there's definitely one, I don't know if anybody's been there recently, but if you look, there's definitely a gap somewhere in the middle of the signage, and we're not sure what business was there. The last records of billing was 2018. And I think that might have been when things with the Dietz Commission kind of changed. So we don't have any of those records since then.
All right. Any other questions regarding Dietz Stadium?
I'm sorry. You just answered my question. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Okay, moving right along. We have some old business to address, and starting out with the Ken Bryant Memorial. I know that Lindsay was saying, Lindsay sent us something regarding policy, more policy. Lindsay, you want to just review that with us?
Sure. So I hope everyone had a chance to take a look at that. So Steve Shadow, and I apologize, he did say that he wasn't able to make it. He said he was going to try to hop on if he could, but Steve did send a letter or an email to Andrea Shaw, President Common Council, and CC'd the mayor on the commission's request. I then forwarded the letter that came on behalf of the commission. The mayor replied with the copy of the naming policy, which I believe was drafted by the Rec Commission in 2007. And in that policy, it states the process that is to be followed for naming any park, playground, bench, what have you, in the city. And it seems as though the proper process has not necessarily been followed. And so he has asked that we just kind of clear up some of the things that need to be addressed. And some of those items I listed in the email, for the way the process is supposed to go is there's an application that was supposed to be drafted up by the commission. And that application needed to be used for any kind of proposal or request that comes through the commission or an alderman or even the commission itself. And so that doesn't currently exist. I've been reaching out to municipalities, trying to find any sort of similar example that someone may have. I have not been lucky in that way yet, but I'm, if it comes down to it, I may just have to kind of draft something and you guys can edit it, make suggestions, changes, whatever you want to do. But that part of it isn't as important as the plaque information. What the plaque is going to cost, what the design of the plaque is, the size, the specifications, the location of where exactly the plaque is going to be placed. Those are all the things that are supposed to be submitted along with a family letter, application, and I think just the proof, the design proof of the plaque and what language is going to be on the plaque. So those items are supposed to be packaged together, sent to the mayor's office. And then from there, he then passes it on to Common Council for an official vote. He understands that this has been going on for a while. He also supports this effort. He does not want this to be confused with him not supporting it, but he wants to make sure the process is followed so that in the distant future, a different mayor or a different alderman or whoever, different commission members don't decide that they want to now change, the policy or change the name of this basketball court because there's no official document stating that we follow the policy, if that makes sense. So I sent the email with the different things that are needed in hopes that everyone could kind of chip in and try to maybe take one item on so we can get it done as quickly as possible. It is on the agenda for the General Government and Public Safety meeting for May 26th. Tony Davis is the chair of that commission. I have no doubt that he's going to be supportive of this, but I just want to make sure that we are dotting our I's, crossing our T's, so that way nobody can kick it back and say, well, you guys didn't follow the policy. And so that's kind of why I wanted to bring that back up. Does anybody have any questions or?
So there needs to be a picture taken of where it's going to be situated in the park, right?
Yes.
I'm not even sure where that is.
I think someone mentioned, well, there was a bit of a concern. I think there's kind of like a stone stage that's, or like a, I don't even know what you call it. There's a stone
Yeah, right
structure
there.
that's near the basketball courts. And I believe someone suggested it be placed there. But again, I don't know if a lot of the commissioners don't even know what that looks like or where that is. You may feel different once you see it. So it is important to kind of consider all those things when we submit our official proposal.
Right. I need to take a trip down so that I can take a look at where that is.
Joe McDowell
Um,
did send an email just recently and said that he was going to go down tomorrow and take pictures. He also responded and said he talked with Kevin Bryant, that Kevin was going. He says, unfortunately not able to take the pictures. However, I'll be able to go tomorrow at some point. I'll follow up with fast signs. I'm requesting what should be on the sign. And they said, spoke to Kevin Bryant yesterday. He stated he will follow up with the Common Council. So that's at least good news.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like Joe is covering all three of those areas that you had asked us to
Yeah.
take part in. Yes.
And we'll have to follow up with him closely because again, these items have to be submitted along with the letter that we already did. This application that we will come up with, you guys will, it's not gonna be something that should wait until the next meeting, of course. So I'm just
Right.
I'm gonna send you guys a draft and then I'm gonna need for everyone to take a look and give input, because that's essentially what we're using. And it can be revisited at the next meeting, but for these purposes, I just want to make sure that we are submitting some form of an application that shows we went through, the same process that we would be holding everyone else to.
Right. Okay.
Maureen, Ron Woods.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Good. I'd be very glad. to purchase the plaque for the Ken Bryant Memorial at Andy Murphy Center. He was a good friend of mine. If you let me purchase the plaque, I'd be very happy.
Wow.
Thank you.
I have no problem with that at all. I feel grateful that you would even suggest to do that. I'm sure that the other commissioners are as well.
Okay.
Thank you,
I did
Ron.
do the
Oh, my goodness.
I did do the funding for the D Stadium Monument Project. I like to do Cornell Park landscaping too. And I was so happy to give a nice check to Ricardo Knox Park. I don't know if you want me to let me do these things. I don't want to get in any trouble with the Rec Commission. I've gotten enough trouble with the Rec Commission in past years.
No, I think you're fine, Ron. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Ron. And if you need further help spending your money, please let us know. We'll come up
Do you
with
need
other ideas as well.
Do you need a check, Maureen?
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Oh, wow. Stay
Thank
well.
you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Wow, what a gift. So, oh, Joe was just trying to call me. He said he didn't have the link to hop into the meeting. Gosh, okay. I don't know. Is it possible to send him a link, Lindsay? Or,
Yeah, let me try to. I'm gonna email you.
oh, we have a few other things. As a matter of fact, Joe just called me. Could give us an update on the poll in Academy Green. And there were two, I think there was one more item after that, the poll
Rondell
and,
Neighborhood Center.
what was the last item?
The Rondell Neighborhood Center.
Oh, the Rondout neighborhood updates for the bathrooms and lockers.
Right, I didn't get I still didn't get the link from Lindsay.
Oh, okay. Let me see if they can hear you talking.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize, everybody. I was down my dad.
Can you hear Joe?
Yes.
Okay, they can hear
So
you.
I apologize, everyone, for the inconvenience. Just had a serious situation to go on my dad, and I was talking to get on, and I don't think I might have erased it or misplaced the link or call in. But anyway, look to the Academy Green. That pole can be restored, and without spending a significant amount of money, monetary, to replace it. Also, the tree can get cut back as well, so you can put a flag up there. So I don't know who's in charge of that, but that's my observation of it. It definitely can be restored instead of paying $10,000 plus or whatever the amount may have been. I don't know if you got the Ken Bryant situation, but I spoke to Kevin, and I think he feels like the conflict of interest for him to submit a letter. So he's gonna speak to Ken White and see if she can submit a letter of support so we could just move forward with this. Also, pertaining to the sign, I spoke to Marie earlier. I think we discussed it earlier, and it'd be good if we can have input on what we want on it, so that we can get an estimate of how much it would cost. So somehow, if we can get that together at some point this week, probably, or beginning next week, so I can have definite numbers for everybody on that. The Roundout Neighborhood Center. the bathrooms. Myself, Courtney, and I forgot her name. Hard to that was involved with the bathrooms upstairs. Can everybody hear me still? Hello?
Can you hear him?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you,
Yes,
John.
they can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so such as the bathrooms, it was approximately 2 years ago we discussed the locker rooms upstairs and around that neighborhood center. Those locker rooms are in actually good shape. They just need to be rehabbed. You have 2 bathrooms up there, and it could be girls, and the other side is the guys. That is not being used at all. It's just there to storage stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. And the showers work and everything just need to be upgraded. And I think we mentioned this a while ago, 2 years ago. During the same time when the toilets downstairs, the bathrooms, they didn't have doors, and they had the doors made up like a makeshift door temporarily. But that bathroom down there, the bathrooms down there, they have been the same since the building was built, and it's way outdated now. And it's to a point now when the kids use it, they can barely use the urinals. And being that COVID out also, I think we should have different type of hand soap dispensers also than what we have down there as well, as well as the sink. So I think that should be in the budget somewhere or another. If it's not, it should be. And I believe it was at one point. If we could look into it again.
So actually, the rundown,
upgrade of the bathrooms and the locker room up there. That is
The
around
run- we have-
that center.
we
Okay,
had
Lindsay saying something.
Yeah, we had Scott Hughes come in not too long ago. He's providing us with a quote on the work. So everything that you just listed is something that we, Julie and I met with him and did a walkthrough. And so he's going to be providing us with a quote for it. We do believe that we have CDBG funds that can be utilized for the Roundout Center. And that's what we plan to do. It does seem like it would be, especially the upstairs bathrooms and locker room, that would be a heavy lift, but we do have enough CDBG fund. We actually have a lot of money from past years for CDBG funding that can still be used for that project. So we're just waiting to find out what the total cost would be for the project and see, when the work can be done, how long it would take, and if it can be done, when the kids are not in session, so that if they're using the downstairs, if they have to redo the downstairs restrooms, they don't, we have to figure out somewhere for them to go because there's not really another option for them to use during a program.
Right. Understandable. Yep. All right, great. That's perfect then.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we were still on that because, we haven't discussed that in a while. So I just want to make sure that, that's still out there. So it hasn't been forgotten that building and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Lindsay. Really appreciate everything.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, so we need to get some wording together to go on Ken's plaque, and then Joe would be able to get a cost for that plaque. So I don't know, is anybody familiar with wording that should go on plaques? Will we need to have the wording by the time we submit to the meeting on the before the 26th?
Yeah, we should, because if, they're gonna want, at least in my conversations with the mayor, he feels what he is to be approving are these things. It's not only what are we asking, what is it that we're asking and what will it look like? And, that I do think that that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a complete package. This is what we
Yeah.
want. This is where we want it to go. This is what it's going to say. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we don't want being kicked back again.
All right. So, maybe we can, anybody who has any ideas about the wording that should go on it can maybe submit something to, can I say submit it to you, Lindsay? and then we'll take a look at it and,
Yeah, I think Joe needs it though too, to get a quote, no?
Yes, I do need to know so I can present it to them, and they can
Yeah.
give us the cost and also the size of it. Also.
okay, so everyone
Yeah.
has Joe's email? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's try to come up with some ideas. I don't think it has to be, I think it can be something that can be pretty concise, right? You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions about the plaque? The Rondout Neighborhood Center repairs or the Academy Green flagpole? Joe is saying that the flagpole can be, can be refurbished and trees need to be trimmed and it can stay where it is.
Will,
Is that
will
our
Academy-
call?
Will Academy Green Club or what foundation, whatever it is, allow the trees to be trimmed
Well,
and
that's part of the issue. I think there was like 3 different issues as to why they stopped using that flagpole. And part of it, when I had a meeting with Ann Schultz at Academy Green, she said that there was a concern or proposals that the Academy Green Commission wanted the flagpole moved. That's what I believe started the whole conversation. And now that they know,
Oh, so they definitely want it moved.
well, I don't know if it's definitely.
They definitely want it
if-
moved.
I
Mhm.
think it was a proposal. I think half the commission wanted one thing and the other half wanted something else. And so I think they're at a standstill themselves. And so if you want, we can
Okay.
invite them to one of the meetings and talk about it and just get an answer one way or the other. But my understanding is we have to be in agreement with them to make any changes to that location.
I think it's, go ahead, Joe.
Does that come out of our budget, or is it just strictly their budget? I was just doing it as a voluntary thing, but I mean to rehab it. But if that's not the case, I'm
You
Yeah, I
can
don't,
charge them.
yeah, I don't know what the, like, for example, the Memorial Tree Fund, that was the real reason that I was meeting with Ann Schultz. She had a bunch of items that she wanted taken care of with the trees. They have their own funds and they took care of hiring Dave's tree company to take care of that. That did not come out of the rec budget. But I don't know how it works with I don't know if that's necessarily the same with the Academy Green committee. And if anyone has more of the history with that, please chime in. But I don't know exactly what the arrangement was when that agreement was ever made. I know we're responsible for maintaining it. And I know that we have to go through them for any changes or additions or, whatever. But as far as if they want something added, I don't know if that is on the city or if on them or if it's a joint thing.
Lindsay,
Hi.
the city owns Academy Green Park, but to put anything in Academy Green Park, we have to get the Academy Green Society's permission. But it's owned by the city. They have to give permission for us to put that in. I don't know. I guess the tree fund, they have money. Academy Green Society said they have no money for any improvements at Academy Green Park.
Right. So, and that makes sense. So, but then that's the issue with the flagpole is they want the flagpole to be moved. And it sounds like, from getting the estimate from DPW, it was going to be too costly to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Larry Quilty's Academy Green Society president, maybe he could be consultant, Lindsay, to discuss, exactly what they want.
Yeah, that's why I suggested that they come to the next meeting and we can, talk to them and hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, Kevin Quilty and Pete Roberts would be the ones to be invited to your meeting to discuss the Academy Green flagpole. I gave $500 to Rennie Scott Childress to start the project, but it would be city funding. Academy Green Society said they have no funding for the project.
Okay, so I think that the next meeting, Lindsay, we can put them on the agenda.
Sure.
And
Oh,
Any-
I have a question about that though. If they want something done with the flagpole and it needs it and you know, and Joe is going to volunteer to renovate it. And which wouldn't cost him anything. Is that something we could do? I mean, if nobody else is going to pay for anything, then it can't be moved because that would cost money.
Yeah, well, that had to be discussed with Kevin Quilty and Pete Roberts. We have the deed to the city, Al. We can put any improvements in our Academy Green that we want, but we need permission from the Academy Green Society to do that. I haven't talked to them about removing the flagpole. I mean, we could put a flagpole wherever we want and just get permission from the Academy Green Society so that we could do it. It would be paid for by the city of Kingston.
No,
Yeah, I hear you, Ron, but I
if
think
they
they're
are
requesting it.
They're requesting it. If they're the ones requesting it and they're not able to provide funds for it, and neither are we, that's kind of where I think the issue lies.
Yeah.
Right, but you know they're very nice. Pete Roberts, Kevin Quilty. It would just have to be discussed with them. I think they would go along with what the Kingston Recreation Commission advises to do at Academy Green Society. They're very nice people.
Okay, so, well, we can have this conversation with Kevin Quilty and Pete Roberts and, you know, and maybe come to some type of agreement.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So, so if we can get them on the agenda for the next meeting, that would be great. If not, for a future meeting. Any other questions regarding Academy Green or any other items on the agenda? Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 3rd, Thursday, June 3rd. Unbelievable, June already. 5 p.m. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Before we do that, I just want to acknowledge, because I don't think it was acknowledged, but there was a person who used to work in the maintenance staff. I knew him as Tanny, and I'm not sure of his actual government name, but he recently and unfortunately passed away. I wanted to acknowledge his service to the Parks and
Oh,
Rec.
really?
Yes, and I just want to acknowledge his service many years since I was younger at the Roundout Center, and just being a really good person. So I just wanted to recognize him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Andrea. Thank you.
Yes, he passed recently?
Yes, I believe it could have been maybe 3 weeks ago, or even up to a month.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, it's crazy with this COVID-19 pandemic. It's like people seem to be passing away and, you know, without people realizing it, you know, it's so sad. But thank you for bringing that to our attention. I do remember him, I think in the Rondout Center a lot. I don't know if he did maintenance there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, any other remarks or concerns? Okay, I move to call this meeting to an end.
I second that.
Al? Oh, okay. Al Nay seconds it, so. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and those who perform duties as those type of duties as well, because aunties get a lot of recognition too. So have a good weekend and
You
we'll see you at the next meeting.
All right.
Okay, see you then.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, Joe.